Hi everyone, my name is Trey and today my presentation is going to be on cross-platform liquidity. The company I've chosen is International Game Technology, or IGT for short, and the course is MHA 623 Internet and Mobile Gambling, and my name is Trey Giacomo-Donato. Before I start, I want to give a quick legal disclaimer or non-affiliate notice. The views, analysis, and recommendations expressed in this presentation are solely my own and do not represent the opinions, strategies, or confidential information of International Game Technology, IGT, or any of its partners or affiliates. I'm not an employee or consultant or insider of IGT. Any information gained from my Trey Giacomo Donato's past, current, or future employment dealings with IGT via partnership or collaboration is not disclosed in this presentation in reference to non-public company data, quarterly business reviews, or site visits, and can be referenced to public data. All facts, figures, and industry insights are derived from publicly available sources, including but not limited to IGT's annual reports, SEC filings, and investor presentations. Reputable news outlets, analyst reports, and peer-reviewed research, or industry reports such as AGA Gaming Reports or ILEX and Krychik Gaming. The presentation is strictly for educational purposes and is not intended for commercial use, redistribution, or competitive advantage. Any forward-looking statements or recommendations are hypothetical and based on personal analysis and opinion, not insider knowledge. The work adheres to the academic integrity policies of the University of Nevada, Las Vegas, and respects intellectual rights. Any third-party references or materials are properly included and properly cited or applied under fair use guidelines. So I'm going to start off with the executive summary. First, we're going to go over a company overview, situational analysis, problem statement, SWOT analysis, alternatives, then the solution, and then works cited at the end. Beginning with the company overview, IGT is one of the most recognizable vendors in the gaming industry. They operate in multiple verticals such as land-based cabinets and software, progressive jackpots, iGaming products, platform tools such as remote gaming servers and bonusing systems, casino marketing software, lottery systems, sports betting software, and social and mobile gaming apps. So here I put together a little collage of some of their most recognizable products. The biggest one you see is Megabucks here. That's probably one of the largest wide area progressives in land-based casinos. Here in Nevada, they connect to all the casinos and they have a minimum $10 million reseed. Very popular, usually with a sign spinning in the middle of the casino where you can always find it. Top right, you have Video Poker or their Game King cabinets, which have video poker, slots, blackjack, all that fun stuff. Also included in a lot of the bars here in Las Vegas as well. Stinkin' Rich, that's a very popular IP of theirs. Bottom left corner, we have Wheel of Fortune, which is based off the TV show. But again, a great partnership, great wide area progressive, similar to Megabucks. Although the progressives aren't that big, they still get to be very large. Cash Eruption at the bottom, that is the most popular iGaming game in the United States. Most popular slot by a long shot. And then bottom is Powerbucks, and that's what my project's on. Beginning with the situational analysis. So, cross-platform jackpots, the global gaming industry is rapidly evolving towards an omni-channel integration, with cross-platform liquidity emerging as a key innovation for both land-based and online casinos. This technology enables shared progressive jackpot meters, enabling larger prize amounts, enhanced player engagement, as well as support for both types of casinos, which are often thought to be cannibalizing one another. Often you'll see California specifically and other areas, Florida is another great example, is a lot of the land-based casinos are afraid that when casinos, iGaming is offered, you're going to see a dip in the land-based participation, which is true. However, jurisdictions like New Jersey and Michigan have combated this by giving the licenses for online casinos to the land-based counterparts. So even if iGaming does take off, the partnership and sub-licensing that they're allowed to do can still support the land-based casino and maintain some of those jobs and economic development that they were promised when they first got licensed for land-based. So situational analysis for cross-platform jackpots. International Game Technology, IGT, is a lead gaming product vendor. The company has successfully implemented cross-platform jackpots in the United Kingdom and Canada through products like Mega Jackpots and Powerbucks, rolled out in the late 1990s and early 2000s. However, the United States market lags behind other countries/jurisdictions due to the critical factors such as state-by-state regulation, resistance from land-based casinos, and the absence of cross-state liquidity. So, my problem statement. IGT possesses the technology, market position, and relationships within the industry to implement cross-platform liquidity within the United States. However, challenges beyond their control prevent them from a seamless application and integration of their product. First being the regulatory hurdles and framework of the American gaming market. Land-based and online casinos are regulated at the state level, with only 7 states having iGaming legalized, 5 of which are open market, allowing for multiple platforms to exist. Each state has its own unique licensing, reporting, and tax structure. Pennsylvania, for example, has the highest tax rate for online providers and has a requirement that all table games in the online space must exist somewhere in Pennsylvania in a land-based casino, somewhere within the state. While Michigan does not allow Keno on the online platform due to it being considered an exclusive lottery product. Just for reference here, Pennsylvania is probably one of the biggest iGaming jurisdictions, one of the biggest gaming jurisdictions in the world. However, for iGaming, their tax rate for slots is 56%, which is just insanely high. However, they have the market to support, and when they came online, they wanted to be a player-first gaming market. In addition to the regulatory challenges, there is the industry resistance regarding land-based casinos, often viewing online platforms as competitors rather than counterparts, fearing that they will cannibalize on their profits in whichever state they operate in. Last being the technical barriers within the absence of interstate framework and cooperation from regulators preventing the scale for more viable jackpot amounts. This is in reference to cross-state liquidity. So right now, cross-state liquidity doesn't exist in the American iGaming market. However, lottery, for example, I'll take the Powerball or Mega Millions. Those ones, if you buy a Powerball ticket in Florida, you buy one in Iowa, you buy one in New York, they're all feeding into the same pool. But right now, for online casinos, cross-state liquidity and cross-state jackpots do not exist. So I'll go over the SWOT analysis next. So strengths, first one being brand recognition. IGT is one of the premier gaming companies in the land-based and online gaming space. Founded in 1975 and headquartered in the United Kingdom, they have been developing both slot software and cabinets for 50 years, maintaining their reputation as a world-class casino vendor. Over the years, they have continued to acquire and consolidate companies as well as develop lucrative relationships within the industries. IGT controls over 43% of the wide area progressive market through brands like Megabucks, which has a minimum $10 million reseed, Wheel of Fortune, Powerbucks, and Mega Jackpots. Not to mention the local, area, and standalone progressives that operate with different variants of their large catalog of games. They also have already developed cross-platform technology. Mega Jackpots is IGT's single-level cross-platform jackpot, popular in both the United Kingdom and Canada, while Powerbucks is their 3-tiered multi-level option, mainly popular in Canada. Both jackpot brands have cross-platform liquidity between land-based and online markets which they operate in. Given that they are already successful in multiple countries, demonstrates the viability of expanding into the United States. Weaknesses. Dependence on land-based. 68% of IGT's revenue comes from their land-based division, while the second highest contributor is lottery. Although they can easily port their games to online and have Cash Eruption as the most popular online title, conflict regarding expansion and redistribution of resources is apparent as the iGaming industry continues to grow within the United States. Regulatory and compliance costs. With iGaming being regulated at the state level, one of the weaknesses and challenges for IGT is getting their games and jackpots approved in multiple jurisdictions rather than just one regulatory body. New Jersey's Department of Gaming Enforcement has their own lab for testing, while all other jurisdictions require a GLI, Gaming Laboratories International, or BMM certification to ensure the games are tested and functional. Another weakness is the regulatory and compliance costs. Following certification, they must also undergo additional review from each regulator's jurisdiction that they want to get their games live in. For a company like IGT, with their expansive catalog and ongoing innovation, this can prove to be costly and time-consuming to deliver product in current markets as well as expand into new ones. iGaming in the United States is regulated at the state level, and as of right now, it's only legal in 7 states. Although the industry is still very young, with PAPSA being overturned in 2018, the future development of this industry is up to forces outside of IGT's control. Vendors and platforms can band together with lobbying efforts promoting the benefits of iGaming within the state. However, it is ultimately up to the government, regulators, and the voters on whether or not more states are going to come online. Therefore, IGT, they can work, they can invest in it, but ultimately it's not under their control of how, if, or they are allowed to enter these markets. Moving on to opportunities, IGT is a global brand based out of the United Kingdom with offices all over the world. Having experienced success across the globe with multiple gaming verticals presents IGT the opportunity to scale on this progress in the United States, identifying global trends, utilizing previous analytics data and resources collected to develop the most successful strategy as they look to roll out in more states. Untapped iGaming growth. The regulated United States iGaming market is projected to grow from $3.7 billion in 2024 to $8.4 billion in 2028. iGaming is only legal in 7 states as of 2025. However, New York, Maryland, Ohio, Illinois, Indiana, Wyoming, and New Hampshire have all expressed interest in coming online. It is projected that as more states make the iGaming available, the others will see more tax revenue coming in, creating a domino effect for even more states to legalize iGaming. And then another opportunity is just the demand for larger jackpots. Lottery demand, which is very similar to jackpots, are price inelastic among multiple socioeconomic groups. As iGaming expands within the United States, both vendors and platforms have continued to invest in developing jackpot-specific products. Providers are offering more wide-area progressives shared across games and IP, and platforms are developing overlays as player-contributed jackpots and marketing-funded jackpots to keep players on site. With IGT's existing technology and wide catalog of games, they are very well positioned to be a leader in the online jackpot space. Threats. While land-based casinos, it is unheard of for casinos like Caesars Entertainment or Wynn Resorts to develop their own games or technology in-house. This is not the case for the iGaming market. Both DraftKings and FanDuel have their own jackpot overlay networks that is essentially complete to compete with their providers. IGT does not have their own online casino platform and is dependent on these partners/competitors to have their games live in each jurisdiction to sustain their success. Threats. Cross-state liquidity. In the United States, cross-state liquidity is not yet regulated and does not exist in the iGaming space. Although it is available for lottery products, with states like Michigan, New Jersey, and West Virginia expressing interest for cross-state liquidity for online poker, it is not available for casino games and online jackpots. This poses a threat because although on land-based, wide-area progressives can be shared amongst different casinos, leading to higher pot amounts and player engagement, smaller jurisdictions like Connecticut, Delaware, and West Virginia may struggle to maintain exciting jackpot meters, thus affecting IGT's return on investment or the ability to develop and operate jackpots within these states. Then another threat is competition from other providers. The iGaming market is very saturated, with many existing land-based providers and European iGaming providers setting up shop in the United States. Although IGT is a leader in the gaming industry, they face additional competition in this market from all over the world due to the nature of iGaming. Just another point on that, usually in the Las Vegas casinos, a lot of the vendors are in town and set up shop here. With iGaming, it's a little bit different because it is tech focused. You have a lot of game studios coming out of Europe, Africa, Australia, former gray market providers, and they can come online in New Jersey a lot quicker than having to set up shop, set up an assembly line, and develop physical cabinets. Unlike traditional land-based gaming where resorts and casinos are limited to how many games they can fit inside their 4 walls, iGaming platforms have no limit to how many games they can offer on site as well. Providers like DraftKings and FanDuel offer over 3,000 games on their New Jersey site experiences, thus amplifying the competition for vendors like IGT. Alternatives. Option 1 is no cross-platform implementation, and this one happens to be the status quo. By continuing to operate with no cross-platform integration, IGT can continue to invest and develop other verticals within the United States iGaming industry that have already proven viable and successful. By doing so, they would avoid regulatory conflicts and costly platform integrations. The risk, however, is that they can lose their competitive advantage within the online space, falling behind other providers if their competition brings something like this to market. Option 2, state-by-state pilot programs, and this one is the most recommended for this project. All the regulated iGaming states have both land-based and online casinos with IGT's games integrated in some form. The most recommended option would be to tackle this initiative on a state-by-state basis, starting small, then eventually expanding everywhere legally viable. New Jersey and the Department of Gaming Enforcement would be the best place to start, as they are considered the gold standard for online gaming regulation within the United States, and Atlantic City would be a great place to pilot this program from the land-based side. There are challenges with this due to each cross-platform initiative needing to get approved and both regulated in each state, with the different certification requirements and compliance standards, or just flat-out denial from the regulators. In addition to the absence of cross-state liquidity, will set the limit for scalability of jackpot meters, especially in the smaller states. Option 3. Go all in for cross-state liquidity. This one's the least recommended option. A recommended option, but the most challenging, would be for IGT to lead the charge on cross-state liquidity first, and then integrate cross-platform jackpots. With the high risk comes the highest reward, as cross-state liquidity jackpots would enable for massive jackpot amounts, and they would be able to utilize their previous experience developing lottery products for state and local governments. There are substantial challenges with this, however, as regulators may be more resistant to allowing for cross-state liquidity with lengthy legislative process, concerns over lost or shared jobs and tax revenue among the states, as well as opposition from the tribal casinos, which have previously tried to slow down the advancement of iGaming within their respective states. For those reasons, this is the least recommended option. Solution. The best solution for IGT would begin bringing cross-platform jackpots to the United States immediately, replicating the previous success and/or brand IP for Mega Jackpots or Power Bucks in the United Kingdom and Canada, combined with the ongoing success of Mega Bucks within the United States, while also building upon and integrating these jackpot concepts into an already popular games like Texas Tea or Stinkin' Rich. By doing this, they can initiate a slow rollout in New Jersey with the Department of Gaming Enforcement, then replicating their efforts among states like Michigan and Pennsylvania. Although there will be some challenges ahead with rollout, by getting ahead of this trend early, they can position themselves very well in the space, appealing to both land-based casinos and online platforms, furthering this initiative to eventually get cross-state liquidity jackpots across the line. As more states look to come online soon, implementing the work now holds the highest likelihood of success, as the iGaming industry continues to grow within the United States. Thank you. And down here we have my works cited from a couple of the slides.